Zo, een hele goede dag. Welkom bij de Gamescom stream van Xbox. Jesper, dat hebben heel veel mensen gezegd. Dat is het grootste fan. Natuurlijk zijn we weer benieuwd naar nieuwe games, nieuwe gameplay, beelden. Ja. We moeten even afwachten, nog een paar minuutjes voordat de stream echt begint natuurlijk. Ik kan altijd nog overschakelen naar de gewone Xbox stream. Deze is van IGN in ieder geval. Maar in ieder geval Jesper, een goedemiddag. Ik weet niet wie er allemaal zijn op de achtergrond, maar laat je even horen zou ik zeggen. Verwacht in ieder geval natuurlijk Halo, dat soort dingen. Ik ben benieuwd, dat is eigenlijk het meeste waar ik nu benieuwd naar ben, denk ik, Halo. Verder denk ik wat Bethesda dingetjes. Games die natuurlijk daarvoor speciaal uitkomen. Nou, ja, ik ben er wel trouwens een keer geweest, hè, in Gamescom. Een keertje met Activision voor Black Ops 3, denk ik dat het is geweest. Zoiets. Weet niet precies, volgens mij wel. Voor mij ben ik voor Black Ops 3 daar naartoe geweest, in Gamescom. een dagje heen en weer rijden. Dat is natuurlijk niet zo heel erg ver in principe Keulen. Wel leuk om een keer meegemaakt te hebben. Ik hoop er ooit nog een keertje naartoe te kunnen. Maar ja, natuurlijk zoals alle evenementen is ook dit jaar vanwege corona natuurlijk ja, alles niet te zien. Ja, het zou kunnen zijn dat Destiny ook erin zit nog, Johnny. Dus ik ben benieuwd in ieder geval. Like even de stream, jongens. Oh, zou ik ook fijn vinden. Nog 4 minuutjes. Kleine 4 minuutjes, 3 minuten. ODST, Halo OSD. Heb je dat gespeeld, Johnny? Dankjewel, Dylan.
Mijn naam is Daniel Heidhorn, Gamertech Schnittgemüse.
Schnittgemüse! Nou, je hebt ze allemaal gespeeld. Okay. Ja. Ja, ik heb Halo 3, 4 ook wel gespeeld, 5 gespeeld natuurlijk. Ja, niet allemaal, maar het zijn, ik speel meer Gears. Ja, misschien wel iets van Gears of War. Een hintje of zo, dat zou wel kunnen, hè? Ze zeggen dat ze ermee bezig zijn, hè, met Gears 6. Dus we gaan het zien. Ja, ik denk in Flight Simulator zullen we wel heel veel zien natuurlijk over. Dus nog even afwachten.
Hey Leute, was die Gamescom für mich bedeutet, wollt ihr wissen? Also ich muss sagen, die Gamescom ist für mich schon immer eine riesige Gaming-Community gewesen, wo auch die Xbox-Fans als große Familie zusammenkommen, sich in die Arme nehmen, Freundschaften schließen und einfach gemeinsam Videospiele aus der ganzen Welt feiern.
Forza Horizon 5. Krijgen we natuurlijk al zeker wel wat te zien over. Die komt natuurlijk over een paar maanden al uit. Daar ben ik ook wel benieuwd naar inderdaad. Nou, wat dan meer? Jezus, mensen. Ja, zo, meestal heel veel games kom je pas achter als het zeggen, zeg maar, snap je? En dan denk ik weer zelf, hé, dat valt eigenlijk toch wel weer mee, die nieuwe games.
Die Gamescom ist persönlich für mich ein Event, auf das ich mich jedes Jahr freue. Ich war 2012 das erste Mal da und was soll ich sagen? Ich bin seitdem ein Dauergast geworden. Ich nehme jedes Jahr Urlaub, weil es einfach megamäßig Spaß macht.
Setup is trouwens even wat anders, hè? In verband met dit, hè? Oh! Dit is een die staat aan. Maar het is niet nodig, dus. Want we krijgen het toch hier te zien. Ik ben echt benieuwd hoor. Hey Thomas, goeiedag.
Es ist jedes Mal ein Riesenabenteuer. Jeder einzelne Messetag ist speziell und man weiß nie, was passiert. Ich habe so viele lustige und tolle Dinge erlebt und möchte keine Sekunde davon missen.
Das war die schönste Erinnerung an die Gamescom, als ich mit meinem Rollstuhlfahrer-Onkel, der ist jetzt schon über 60, den habe ich mitgenommen und der war ganz begeistert von dem Xbox-Stand.
30 secondjes en dan weten we het.
Die Anspielstationen waren breit genug für einen Rollstuhl. Das Team vor Ort war klasse, die waren total...
Ik wil ze meteen overschakelen.
Echt super geil.
Hi, ich bin Nicole, alias Niki Zick, und es gibt jede Menge Gründe, warum ich die Gamescom liebe. Das fängt mit den Games an, geht über Merch, Loot, übers Cosplay und hinaus zu meinen Freunden. Gamescom ist für mich das Event im Jahr, wo ich die meisten
Allemaal Duitse
Freunde wiedersehe.
influencers, hè?
Wir sind mittlerweile eine doch große Familie und ich freue mich jedes Mal darauf, sie wiederzusehen.
Nou, heel mooi. Nou, daar gaan we, jongens. We gaan hem kijken. Flight.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Gamescom 2021 Xbox stream.
Nou, ook welkom.
Game updates to share with you today. We're talking Age of Empires 4, Psychonauts 2, and my personal
Oh, Psychonauts, Age of Empires.
Later on, we'll take an extended look at Forza Horizon 5. There's so much going into this.
Forza.
Game's vision of
Carrie, goeiedag.
muy, muy bonito.
And we'll be getting our first look at the cover car for the game, Paris. I got 5
Kul, goeiedag, jongen.
those electric scooters that you see piled up on the sidewalk.
Will Kate win $5? I guess we're about to find out.
Yes, indeed. Our Xbox Plays team will also chat with devs and deep dive into current and upcoming games all week on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Let's get started
Oh.
with Techland and their upcoming zombie
Goeiedag, Sarah.
Dying Light 2 Stay Human.
Dying Light, stay human. Oké, even kijken. Techland. Dying Light 2. Beelden, jongens. Samir, goeiedag.
This is David Lubrica, animation director. Hi. We can't wait until December 7th to finally give you Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the game we have been working on really hard for the last few years.
We're hoping the
Uitgesteld, hè?
you're about
Keer.
to watch will give you a foretaste of parkour and combat systems waiting for you in the game.
And we are just about to enter the city, fighting our way through its brutal and dangerous streets. Though, as you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage.
Alsjeblieft,
So watch
Ewout.
closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go!
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this.
Dying Light 2. Nou,
Probably like many others. People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it, but it was the
Nou, niet
people
veel.
who made the world the way it is. This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones. Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other.
Oh.
War broke out.
ziet er wel echt goed uit, hè?
With a broken leg, hope died. Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck! Hey! Still some rats here!
I have to pick a side.
The Bazaar needs good people. You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
Sommige dingen zien er grafisch heel mooi uit. En sommige dingen denk ik, moi, denk ik.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series?
Je ziet wel echt gameplay nu, hè?
Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
Ja, ik vind het ook een beetje houterig inderdaad uitzien, ja.
Trip, wasn't it, Timon?
Niet verkeerd hoor.
Those bandits in medieval-like armor passing
Ik ken
by
grafisch mooiere games,
signs
zeg maar.
and large billboards. That's what we call a modern Dark Ages.
And it's a very unique design, one very important for the plot of Dying Light 2. But there's another thing that stood out to me, all those parkour moves that you and your team has put so much effort into.
Well, all you need is a few thousand of animations, cooperation with professional tracers, mock-up sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell, whose face and moves player will see in the game, by the way.
No, yes, right. And we've got twice the number of parkour moves compared to the first game, and we are showing some of them in this trailer. The vault kicks being the most important to me personally. It brings a whole new fighting style into the game. The player can stagger an enemy and use them to perform further attacks, for example by rebounding from their bodies, jumping of them onto other foes, and so on.
I think we captured the
Het
moment
luisteren
really well
wat ze
and
allemaal
made
bedoelen,
it
maar
quite simple for the players to perform. I can't wait for them to try it out and tell for themselves how much they loved it.
It's definitely going to be useful. The city's buildings are higher than anything we have done before, improving its verticality. Players will need to find a way to reach those tall skyscrapers and other challenging spots too.
Then it's good we scattered some helpers around, like a paraglider, which can support players in both parkouring and combat.
Exactly, and it's gonna do great, especially in fights against humans, which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over 20 years since the events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now.
speelt zich al
at
af,
least
dus 20 jaar
during the
later.
day.
Oké.
And they are more vicious too.
And I think that's a great summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th. Thanks, David.
7 december, ja.
For the first time in the storied history of the franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release on Xbox Series X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, York Newman, to the stream. York, thank you
Ik
for
heb het nog
being
nooit
here.
gekeken, hè, maar ik kan het gewoon
Last
spelen
time we
natuurlijk
met
op
was at
Game
the
Pass.
Xbox
Maar
Game Showcase, and it was getting ready to come out on consoles. How did that go?
It went great. As you said, the reaction to the Xbox console launch was really just amazing. Both from Xbox gamers and from the press, they've been so gracious with their feedback.
dat jasje,
I don't know
jongen.
if you know,
Vet.
but Flight Simulator is one of the highest rated games on Xbox this year, which I think is just great validation that the translation of the simulation to the console has really worked well. Our usage numbers are through the roof. We are absolutely shattering franchise records, and I can tell you, there have never been more people playing Flight Simulator than right now. So it's an awesome time.
Ja, dat is niet zo heel erg raar. Natuurlijk dat meer mensen spelen dan ooit. Want je kan het spelen gewoon op Game Pass. Dus ja, dat is een beetje...
I want to go to the danger zone. So what's going on with Top Gun?
There's so much going on, Paris. So you and I talked about Top Gun Maverick earlier. The fans are super excited. They saw the FA-18. They can't wait to start flying. And as you know, it comes out later this year as free DLC alongside the movie. But as the movie is still under wraps, so are we. So I can
Komt er een
still
Top
not
Gun
tell you that much about it.
update of zo?
But
DLC?
there's so much else going on even before Maverick. So we are continuing to do our monthly big releases that we've been doing for a long time. And next month, on September 7th, we are launching World Update 6. And this world update, I mean, at the beginning of the show, if you remember...
Oh ja, die update was uitgesteld. Dus vertelde ik ook een game nieuws trouwens. Die zou eigenlijk 24e uitkomen, vandaag dus. Maar ze hebben dus 2 weken uitgesteld.
And what that means to us is we have new aerial and satellite images. We have a new elevation map that helps us with the mountains, so the Alps actually look awesome now. We have new 3D cities like Frankfurt and Wuppertal in Germany.
Ziet er wel echt vet uit, hè, dat
Basel
wel.
in Switzerland.
Fucking veel werk, jongen, zit erin. Oh.
And those cities look just amazing. They have like 7 centimeters resolution, and it's awesome. But we want to celebrate the entire region, so we picked 100 of the most scenic places, the most famous landmarks, and we call those POIs. And we sort of spread them throughout the simulation. And we also added airports. We did Lübeck and Stuttgart in Germany, and Klagenfurt in Austria, and St. Gallen in Switzerland. And what it ties it all together is missions. We're having new discovery flights, we have new landing challenges, and we have new sort of tours of the country. So they fly you around all the awesome looking places and really celebrate the beauty of this region of Earth. And this is a celebration of DACH, of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I'm so happy to be able to announce the date here at Gamescom.
Oké, ja. Normaal was het uitgesteld, die update. En die komt dus 7 september uit. Nu. 2 weken later.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. But for us, it's actually not just the region and the visuals. We talked a lot when you study aviation, when you love aviation like we do. You actually realize that a lot of regions of Earth have a very special relationship with flying, with aviation. Sometimes it's, the first experiments with aircraft, or a famous pilot, or a feat of aviation, or like a local manufacturer. So we thought to ourselves, why do we not use these world updates to celebrate the planes? So we are announcing a new series. We call them Local Legends. And think about that as planes that are locally well known, like in that region, but outside in the world not so much. Yeah. But why not use the world updates to highlight this, to bring these awesome machines to a worldwide audience? So for World Update 6, we picked a German plane from the 1930s. It's called Junkers U-52. In Germany, it's lovingly named Tante U, so Aunt U. And we think of us as sort of a digital preservation. So we really
Nederland zit er ook in, ja, zeker.
An extreme level of detail. We're going out of our way to really go.
Gewoon de hele wereld zit erin, sorry. Alleen ja, zoveel mogelijk. Hè. Ze updaten het gewoon elke keer.
As detailed as 1 millimeter, which is as good as you can do this. And then we're working with, for the Junkers, we work with Bernd Junkers, who is the grandson of the original creator of the plane, Hugo Junkers. And he's helping us. He had a ton of insight and materials. Then we worked with an organization that is preserving one of the last surviving examples of the Junkers. So they let us scan and take photographs. And then we were lucky that to find a pilot that actually flew one of those planes while it was still flying in the real world. And he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right and the sounds right? Does it feel right in the air? So we're having a blast working with these experts to really to celebrate this plane, to bring them back to life.
So this is almost like you're creating like a digital museum for aviation inside Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically that. It's a museum with flyable planes. Yeah. So we're working with 40 museums around the world. And it's honestly one of the funnest parts of the job. You end up working with these curators of planes. These are their babies. And they sort of see the tooth of time in the real world sort of nagging on their remaining planes. And they're so happy when we come in with our scanning equipment. And we're basically capturing their planes. And they know that we can
het allemaal nog, hè,
and we're actually giving those scans back to the museum so they can do something with it. And it's a great collaboration. And we're actually not just looking back in the history of aviation, we're also looking towards the future. So I have another announcement. We are working with a fascinating German company called Volocopter.
Yeah.
And they're making an eVTOL air taxi for urban traffic. So they have a vision of the future, how these drone-type machines basically connect people in large cities. We're working directly with the engineering team to make sure that we are capturing their
Call of Duty, hè, jongens?
perfectly in the flight simulator, and that's coming out in November.
I mean, you weren't kidding when you're saying that there's a lot going on inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, there's one more thing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to announce that we've partnered with RARA. That's the Reno Air Racing Association. And every year they put on something called the Steel National Championship Air Race. And we're bringing this to Flight Simulator. So this is the fastest motorsport. This is right down your alley. It's the fastest motorsport on Earth. And I actually brought you a little trailer to look at.
So race, speed. We go into the danger zone, baby. Let's go ahead and show that.
Nou. Dit was het! Gamen! Ik denk we gaan heel wat zien.
Man, these planes, they fly 500 miles, faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to 250 feet above the ground. So you are definitely going to be in the danger zone.
Een teaser, jongen, geen trailer.
This Reno Air Race is actually the largest expansion we have since we launched on Flight Simulator. It's not just because we scanned all the famous race planes of the world. There's lots of them. This is also the first time when you can basically race against your friends and pilots across the planet. And so a competitive multiplayer is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that will definitely test your pilot skills. And you ask, when is it coming out? This is coming out this fall, so it's right around the corner.
Er komen veel updates uit de komende 3 maanden.
Need for speed, so I can't wait to get my hands on this and participate in some of these air races.
Awesome, man. We got you covered.
Yeah, all right, thank you. If going fast on the ground is more your speed, keep an eye out for an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 later on in the stream. We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next big DLC. But first, if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber,
Wasteland 3 is ook
great
een
news for
DLC
you.
van, oké.
Build a weapon, one that blows the world away. Build a
Old-fashioned games, hè? Maar indie games. Dat is wel leuk dat ze allemaal op Xbox Game Pass komen natuurlijk. Een beetje uit mijn jeugd dit, jongen, hoe het eruit ziet. Nou ja, het is allemaal gratis speelbaar. Dus daar is niks verkeerd aan natuurlijk.
They added even more games to Game Pass. But let's talk about what's coming up. We're talking Age of Empires 4, the game's creative director, and we're going to see what's next for Sea of Thieves. But now we've got a new roguelike retro shooter that, in grand retro fashion, sends you plundering through shifting dungeons to defeat a mysterious eldritch terror. Let's dive into the pit.
Goeiedag Bas, goeiedag Bernstein. Jongens, like allemaal even de stream, hè. Ja. Into the pit. 19 oktober, ook direct op Game Pass. Gratis speelbaar. Dus je moet wel een abonnement hebben.
Well, I am here with creative director of World's Edge, Adam Isgreen. And Adam, I'm so excited to talk Age 4, of course, because you brought something a little
Gamescom is een beurs in Duitsland, Bernstein. Alleen dat is nu alleen maar digitaal vanwege corona.
You got to see a lot of footage of that, and we've also shown a little bit of our campaigns, right? Through when we unveiled the 100 Years War and showed Joan of Arc. But we have yet another way in Age of Empires 4 that we're kind of bringing history to life that we haven't talked about yet.
See, you do this to me. You put me in suspense. I want to know more, so let's go with it. Let's hear more.
Okay, wait, you get one moment of suspense. Okay, that's enough. So what we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos that we've created that are interspersed amongst the campaign, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes each. And we have over an hour of them total.
Ik ben er wel eens naartoe geweest, ja,
And what they are is a great way
ik ben
to
er naartoe geweest een keer, Gamescom, ja.
certain fun subjects.
Het is toch in Keulen, dus niet zo ver.
And just from medieval history.
Excellent. Well, I hear you've actually brought one of those segments that you're going to share here.
Maar ik wil volgend jaar eigenlijk wel echt er naartoe, ja. En dan wil ik daar slapen ook. Want ik wil 2 dagen. Dus gewoon een hotelletje pakken daar.
Popular units from Age of Empires franchise and a fan favorite, the trebuchet.
Excellent. Well, this I gotta see. Let's take a look.
A counterweight trebuchet.
Ages of Empire.
Is the king of all siege engines. A catapult capable of smashing down castle walls from great distances.
Ga je dan alleen? Nou, dat weet ik niet.
Warwick Castle in England.
Misschien met iemand anders. Ja.
They've built a replica.
Kijk wel.
One of the largest in the world.
Dat is wel leuk op zich hoor.
Originating in 7th century China.
Normaal gesproken zou ik vroeger met iemand anders gaan, Johnny, maar
trebuchets
dat...
have evolved into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
It has several key features. A pivoted arm with a weight at one end and a sling.
Gaan we wel mee? Jij vindt het wel leuk, Jeroen? Volgend jaar augustus, ja.
Weight is raised using tread wheels.
So this is one of the wheels, one of 2 that's attached to an axle.
Dat maakt nog niet uit, toch?
Lift the counterweight, weighing 6 tons.
Weet niet veel. Het is vanaf hier 2,5, 3 uurtjes rijden. Zo gebeurt toch?
About launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that this end of the arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that weight drops, it really sends this point of the arm.
We kunnen zelfs met een groep gaan hoor. Busje huren en we gaan hoor, met z'n allen. Ja, toch?
This was done by positioning the pivot close to the counterweight and by launching the projectile from a sling.
Ze hebben dus in het echt even maar nagemaakt voor de duidelijkheid. Wat er in Age of Empires zit. Voor een machine. En dat hebben ze hier in real.
Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern guns.
In order to weaken the castle walls or even breach them, you had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory.
Maar ja, dit jaar nog niet, vanwege corona. Hopelijk volgend jaar wel alweer normaal is.
Masons used a gauge.
Hoezo? Wat denk je nou zelf, Johnny? Ik ga daar 2 dagen blijven. Dan ga ik ook overnachten daar ook.
This one must weigh about 25
Dat is toch veel leuker? Daar overnachten, s'avonds wat drinken met z'n allen. Met een groepje. Ja, ik woon ook in Friesland.
Trebuchets were also used to throw burning tar, beehives, even dead bodies. Anything to cause maximum distress to the enemy.
Do you hear that whoosh?
It was the counterweight trebuchet's lethal combination of power and accuracy.
Ja, ik woon in Friesland.
Made it the ultimate medieval siege weapon.
oktober komt hij uit. Nou.
You know I'm going to say trebuchet. Don't care because that is awesome and remarkably unique, something you don't see in games very often.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things when we were looking at what we were going to do with Age of Empires 4, there's a phrase I'm really fond of, which is history is only as interesting
voor mij ligt het noordelijker.
And you could say that about any subject really, right? But I think the great thing is when you have someone that's so enthusiastic and passionate about history, it really comes across. And we wanted to be that kind of teacher for history. And there's a phrase called humanized history that I use to kind of describe what we tried to do, which is we try to like connect past and present. And you can see that kind of in our briefings as well, where we've got like real stuff with like CG kind of overlaid to show you the history. And so for these, we really wanted to do that same thing. So ourselves and Relic partnered with this amazing group in the UK called Lion TV. And they've done production on an amazing amount of shows and documentaries.
Nee, niks geleakt.
Won every award you can imagine.
We krijgen wel Forza zo te zien.
They travel to all of these locations in all these different countries.
Nou, Age of Empires, Sea of Thieves, net Psychonauts krijgen we te zien zometeen, jongens. Ik denk wel een aardige presentatie is dit van een uurtje, hoor.
Kind of go through that process and get all these and finally start showing them to everyone.
I love it. Now, you also, of course, you've got a bunch, as you mentioned, of these hands-on history segments. Anything else that you can tell us fans about what we can expect, looking forward to? Any favorites you got coming up?
Oh, well, favorites. Oh, man. Well, I think my personal favorite is one called Medieval Surgery. Okay. And I'm going to let your imagination go with what we might show and what we might talk about in that one.
Yeah.
But the thing I love about them is that they go all over the place. So, we've got ones on warfare and castle building and like how they kept flaming arrows from not going out when you shot them. And but we've also got all of these ones on, like illuminated history and hawk falconing and, like horse taming, armor creation. And there's even one on Mongolian instrumentation, which is really cool.
Game Pass is gewoon een goede uitvinding, ja. Tenminste, alles wordt ook de echte goede titels worden ook op Game Pass gegooid. Natuurlijk heel veel indie games en zo is ook leuk, maar echte grote games ook gewoon, snap je? Gears, Forza, komt erop hè, Flight Simulator zit erop, Psychonauts komt erop, snap je? Al die goede AAA games die komen erop, Halo komt erop.
Well, the cool thing was it was there from day one. It was one of the things I was really wanted to do is try to tell these stories in a different way. But I'll tell you, like full disclosure, it's been insanely nerve-wracking because we're trying something completely different that no one's ever done before in a game, right? We're history, but we're a game, but we're teaching you things, but you're having fun. And finding that middle ground has been really challenging. And every time we've shown the campaigns or we've shown these hands-on histories, I've been like, oh God, it's gonna work? Like, people gonna like this? And the great thing is so far, everyone that's really experienced the entire thing put together have just been like, wow, this is great. And it's so different and kind of cool and refreshing. So, so far so good, right? But yeah, it's been a journey, to get all this done and put the whole game together.
Well, I love that you mentioned journey because we are coming towards the end of this development journey for Age 4. Talk to me about where people can find and learn more about Age of Empires 4. I know they're all chomping at the bit.
Oh, well, October 28th, we are launching the game. You can go to ageofempires.com to learn more about the title. And if you're really, really excited, right now, you can go onto the Microsoft Store or Steam, pre-order the game right now. And of course, we will be there day one, Xbox Game Pass for PC as well. So anyone that's on that can just grab the game and start playing. But
yes, I believe you are a part of something very special.
Yes, so Gamescom opening night live.
Yes.
11 a.m. Pacific time. There might be something Age of Empires related in there, so if you're a fan, you probably should tune in.
Morgen is dus de opening van Gamescom officieel. En dan is er ook nog wat gameplay in te zien misschien.
Always a pleasure. Age of Empires 4 looks fantastic, so I cannot wait. October 28th, neither should you. Now, we have tons coming up here today, including a new update for State of Decay 2 and an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 with our friends at Playground Games. But now, let's catch up with Paris, who's gone from flying the skies in Microsoft Flight Sim to a different kind of cloud.
That's right, Kate. Xbox Cloud Gaming is already available on Windows PCs, mobile phones, and tablets. And now, it's coming to Xbox consoles. The future with cloud gaming sounds bright. No waiting to install, no running out of hard drive space, no waiting to patch, and no buying a new console just to play with your friends. See how the vision of cloud gaming will bring people together without barriers.
So when I think about cloud and when I think about gaming, those two things together to me really show you the future where you can pick up something and you could play it anywhere and you could do it quickly.
Ja, is gewoon, dan heb je geen harde schijf nodig. Ja, dat scheelt wel heel veel. Zeg maar. Toch? Heb je geen harde schijf nodig of wat?
This actually looks so good.
Maar ja, het nadeel is wel, je bent echt afhankelijk van de connectie. Van de servers ben je afhankelijk. Je bent van je eigen internet heel erg afhankelijk.
It's super exciting that for our Game Pass Ultimate members, they will get to experience Xbox Cloud Gaming on whatever console they have.
Cloud gaming is really about looking at how people play differently. I know me in particular, sometimes I just have 20 minutes.
Nou ja,
It should be as
wordt wel steeds
easy as
beter, hè,
finding
natuurlijk.
the game that you look for on your console and just jumping right in.
We're targeting 1080p,
Bob.
60 frames per second.
What's crazy about this is like the latency. This is the kind of stuff you need with cloud gaming.
Oh, 60 frames? That's actually very smooth.
The process itself to get into cloud gaming feels like you're playing on console, right? You go, you find the game you want, you press play.
It's so easy nowadays. You can pick up any device and pretty much play any Xbox game on Game Pass.
If my friends have titles that I don't have yet, I
Middag,
can just
Tijn.
wait for them to send me an invite. It makes content just so much more accessible.
I really love the flexibility. It's awesome.
Everything that Xbox is doing right now is just getting rid of the limits of having to be on a specific platform or a specific console, play on PC and mobile, and now on Gen 8.
Yeah, Gen 8 consoles can play Gen 9 content. Isn't that so cool?
With cloud gaming, we have the ability, because you are connecting to consoles that are in our data centers, to allow the Gen 8 customers, the Xbox One customers, to play games that their hardware wouldn't have been able to play without it.
Dus voor de duidelijkheid, als je nog een Xbox One hebt en geen Xbox Series, kan je wel de games spelen die gemaakt worden voor de Xbox Series X en S via de Game Pass op de Xbox One. Nou ja, dus op zich is dat natuurlijk wel heel erg mooi. Dus je kan gewoon next-gen games spelen op je oude console. Want het is cloud.
August 9th saw the release of the free optimized update for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on the Xbox Series S and X. With beautiful and rich visuals, thanks to the addition of ray tracing and improved materials alongside its performance updates, this is the perfect opportunity to relive Senua's journey or experience it for the first time. And if you haven't played this, do yourself a favor, grab a pair of headphones and immerse yourself into this world.
Agreed. Speaking of unique experiences on Game Pass, the Xbox Plays team will be taking a look at some ID at Xbox titles over the next few days, including 12 Minutes and The Big Con.
They're also talking with developers from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, and Destiny 2. So join the live Q&A to get your burning questions answered. You can catch all of those streams on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Speaking of Forza Horizon 5, don't forget our
King's Bounty 2, ja, ik kan het aanvragen.
extended look at their monument to motoring in Mexico later on.
That includes never-before-seen areas of the game map, plus cars that have never been in the Forza franchise before. I've loved everything I've seen of Forza Horizon 5 so far, and I can't wait. Now, Kate, there's more games to check out, right?
Well, right you are, Paris. Let's talk Wasteland
Ik heb Game
3.
Pass, ja zeker
Their
heb ik Game
newest
Pass.
DLC introduces us to a new cult. The cult of the Holy Detonation.
The holy detonation is life. Deep within Cheyenne Mountain, we've changed. Devolved into the mutations you see before you. Set on a righteous path. The holy detonation's life-giving glow should be shared with everyone. May the light of the holy detonation purify you. Join us, Rangers.
With new patches, bug fixes, and added features, like a fine wine, Wasteland 3 just gets better with age. To really savor the game's bouquet, we're talking with inXile game director David Rogers. David, thank you for joining us.
I'm super stoked to be here, thanks.
So in the trailer, we saw that the DLC is coming out on October 5th, but we know, inXile Wasteland 3
TikTok is niet van mij.
on this for a very long time. So can you kind of talk about that journey?
Yeah, our dev team has been working non-stop full tilt
trying to make Wasteland 3 the best version of itself it could be. Over the past year since it's released, we've added features, we've balanced, we've listened to the community, we've fixed bugs, added stability, and I really think that the version that we have now is the absolute best version of the game, and if you've never played it before, now's an awesome time to jump in.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've been doing with Wasteland 3. Now, this DLC is called The Cult of the Holy Detonation. Now, talk about that a little bit. Tell me what's going to go into this DLC. What should we be excited about?
Right, so you've heard of Cheyenne Mountain, right?
Yes.
For those who haven't, Cheyenne Mountain is this top secret military complex buried deep in the heart of Cheyenne Mountain in the middle of Colorado. It's designed to outlast a nuclear winter. And so when you hit level 16, an old friend calls you and says, hey, I need your help securing this secret military base and all the secrets within. And as soon as you get there, you find 2 warring cults battling over supremacy, trying to take control of the Holy Detonation, which is this pre-war science experiment that they worship as a god. And you know, these cultists are insane. They're
Flight Simulator in ieder geval
they've
en
got
andere
totally
games.
mad, and all they want to do is share the holy radiation with you and your entire ranger team. How generous!
Yeah, that sounds a lot cooler than some of the cults I may have joined in the past. But this is typical Wasteland fashion. We're really going to be able to get in there and mix it up, right?
Right. So you and your ranger team insert yourself right smack dab in the middle of their holy war, which, you know, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
And this is a Wasteland game, so you decide everything. Choice and consequence is our bread and butter. And so you decide who lives, who dies, who gets screwed over, who takes charge. You're deciding the fate of the cults, the Holy Detonation, Cheyenne Mountain, and ultimately all of Colorado. This is really your game to craft and mold.
That's awesome. So the last expansion was the Battle of Steeltown, right? You had giant robots and things like that. So, you know, what are you going to do to actually top something like that from the last expansion?
Right. So we wanted like returning players to find something that they could never find in another version or like in previous versions of Wasteland 3. And so we built this as a Wasteland-style dungeon crawl. And in there, you find this awesome mix of mystery, exploration. You're meeting these crazy cultists who have been locked in this like pre-war time capsule, and some of the raddest boss battles we have ever been able to build in a Wasteland game.
That's awesome. I want to get back to the crazy cultists.
Ja, ik wil even kijken.
Big boss battles. I want to hear more about that.
Right. So we took the best parts of Wasteland combat and we breathed new life into it with objective-based combat, which are basically super rad boss battles. It's no longer you're like huddling in a corner, throwing down turrets, just going on murderous rampages. It's not about killing, it's about getting the job done. And so now combat doesn't end until the mission is over. We send you on proper combat missions. You're in there breaking into prisons, rescuing POWs. You're disrupting these high-tech cultist rituals. You are splitting your fire team and coordinating like you never have had to before. Like everyone on your team has a job, and I really think this is going to take old players who know their ranger team like the back of their hands, and it's going to make them scratch their head and really have to rethink how they go about combat.
Even kijken hier op de mailing van de...
And challenging, you know, like mentally in a way we haven't been able to really do before with just straight up murder combat.
Now, Wasteland has a reputation for getting a little silly.
Right.
What are some of the weird characters we can expect in some of the story encounters we'll see in the game?
Zat hij niet bij in de mailing?
With Cult of the Holy Detonation, we really got to cut our devs loose and just let them be creative and fun and silly. Like Exiles, modus
Altijd dit soort dingen hoor.
if we're like brainstorming,
Ga even kijken.
we just put it in the game. That's just how we do it, and we pick up.
Ik heb alleen een mailing van Microsoft gekregen, 9 augustus hierover.
We know if we're having fun, our fans are going to have fun along with us. And so we got to explore, like really letting you get deep into this like weird radiation cult and let you interact with them and talk with them. And tell stories and like maybe even join them. And so like for instance, one of the characters you meet, one of the first cultists you meet, is this slathering beast. He's got like claws and fangs. And
Kijk, hij is natuurlijk aan het vertellen over die game. Ja, dat heb je altijd met al dit soort dingen. Er wordt natuurlijk gewoon heel veel verteld over een game. In dit geval over deze game.
And he sherpas you in and lets you meet the whole cult. And another one of my favorites is the Proteus. He's what you get if
Cloud gaming komt dus voor de duidelijkheid, hè. Deze
kind of like I would do this with,
feestdagen
like, a
al.
wine glass. I would like melt like army guys and like GI Joes into a big pile, and he's wet and sloppy and gross, and he's hard to understand, and he needs a translator supposedly, but he's like your #1 fan, and getting to build like this totally out there wild extreme character was a ton of fun to write for. It's a ton of fun to like explore like what makes this cult tick, and he's an absolute blast. Hell, even some of the weapons that you find in Cheyenne Mountain, they're devolved cultists. Like there's one guy and he kind of devolved into this like vomiting bagpipe creature, and he has this real like kill me vibe about him. But we get to play with these fun body horror themes that let us jackknife between.
Nou, staat hier niet bij. Wel Halo staat erbij.
Like goofy and funny, which is a line that Wasteland really loves to ride. Like, you know, a lot of really important stuff is at stake, but you know, the Wasteland's a pretty bizarre place.
Oh, I can imagine.
Halo komt er ook nog, hoor, jongens.
You've been working on Wasteland 3 for a while. There's already expansions that are out there. But say I'm a new player. Say I'm watching this right now and I'm like, man, I want to get into Wasteland 3. What would you suggest for new players wanting to get into this?
And like I said at the top, like Wasteland is like the best version of itself right now because
Ik heb Wasteland 3, vind het niet zoveel aan, moet ik eerlijk
over the
zeggen.
past year. And so you can get the whole thing with the Colorado collection. That's the base game
Niels.
plus Cult of the Holy
Tijd geleden,
Inquisition
jongen.
and Battle of Steeltown.
Ben je niet op
all for
vakantie?
discount. Or if you have Game Pass, you already have Wasteland 3. Just download it and play it, and then you can get both expansions with the expansion pass.
That is awesome. Now, to kind of recap this a little bit, we've talked about, you know, spewing pus bags and these weird characters and the cults and the boss battles and all these really cool things that are going to be in Wasteland 3. But please remind everyone before we get out of here, when can you pick up this DLC?
Right, this Work of Passion, it comes out on October 5th.
Lekker Niels.
So we're really stoked.
That is awesome. So this
En nee, Stijn, daar hebben we het niet meer over.
Holy
Dat is
Dead
Cult of the Holy
Dead Nation coming October 5th. David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Barish. Appreciate it.
All right. In the 3 years since its launch, Sea of Thieves has played host to
Sea of
some
Thieves,
incredible
oké.
crossovers.
Dat is wel een hele mooie game, hè?
Chipsets inspired by games like Battletoads.
Oh, er is ook een update voor
Halo,
Pirates
and more.
shit, hoor.
Today, we're excited to announce a brand new special event that will award players in all new
Ja, cool. Hij
ships
zit dus gewoon in
as
Game Pass,
part
hè, die
of the
game.
latest wild crossover heading to Sea of Thieves. Better yet, this event begins tomorrow. So get ready to make some mayhem, and let's get our first look at this very special ship.
Guten Tag, everyone. Really cool to be a part of this all-digital Gamescom event. And we were thinking, what's the best way to kind of celebrate Gamescom and to be a part of this as Sea of Thieves? And so we're really excited to reveal that we're bringing the Mayhem ship set that you've just seen, a really, really cool ship that's inspired by Borderlands, into Sea of Thieves. And we're giving all of our players a chance to earn it during kind of the Gamescom time period. So it's been really cool to work with the Borderlands team to bring
Een
this
limited
ship to
schip kan je
life,
winnen.
giving all of
Kan
our
je
players a
vrij
chance to
spelen
earn it
dus.
as part of this live event that we've cunningly titled Mayhem. You might notice the
Klopt, ja,
link.
zonder
You can probably
PlayStation
guess
Plus.
the kind of activities that are involved. But if you head to Larina at any of the outposts in the Sea of Thieves world, she'll be able to fill you in on the details of what you need to go do to earn the ship set. So we hope everybody gets a chance to take part in this awesome time-limited event. So it starts today.
90 minuten toch dit, hè?
September the 7th.
Zo.
So that's the time period you've got to get your hands on the Mayhem ship.
Best lang, hoor,
And
is
I think
dat.
that's it from me. So as always,
Normaal
I will see
gesproken
you
is
on
het
the seas.
echt maar 3 kwartier een uur. Ik heb gelukkig ben ik ondertussen de FIFA-video uploaden. Oh, hij is aan het verwerken zelfs. Hij is al geüpload. Van 24 augustus tot 7 september kan je hem vrij spelen. Oké.
Hope. It's always been a dangerous world in Trumbull Valley. But now, it's hope that brings us back together.
Zombies.
It reunites old friends. It builds new bonds. And in the face of a growing threat, hope
Vanaf 7 uur. State of Decay, ja. Dat je kan gamen, een nieuwe game, zonder installeren. Dus gewoon echt via het internet. Is cloud gaming. Gewoon letterlijk in de lucht. Gewoon niks op je console. Je logt gewoon in en je kan spelen.
It seems everything old is new again in State of Decay 2. And we have a guest to walk us through this Undead update. Please join me in welcoming Undead Labs Director of Communications, Wonder Russell. Hello, Wonder. How are you?
Update.
Hello, I'm great. It's great to be here.
Ik heb ook de game trouwens.
Homecoming update releasing on September 1st. We are very excited to get this into players' hands.
You are indeed. So let's talk about the Homecoming update. Obviously, we are coming back to Trumbull Valley. We were there for Heartland, the update, back in 2019. Talk to me about the differences, and I'll sit right here and listen because you're adorable.
So Heartland is the story mode within the game, but it's a very linear, narrative-driven experience. You know, players couldn't move their communities there. So that's all changed with the Trumbull Valley map. It is the 5th core open world map. It's fully remastered, and it expands into 2 territories that were completely inaccessible in Heartland. So players can return to Trumbull Valley with their communities, start new communities there, and really start exploring everything that the new map has to offer.
So then, would Homecoming be a sequel then to Heartland?
Yeah, exactly right. So the events in Heartland kind of play out. You see what happens in Trumbull Valley. So we think of it as the 3rd part of our Trumbull saga that began with the original State of Decay game, continued into Heartland, and now we see what has happened since then and what storylines might be coming to a close. So there is a lot for players to discover, a lot of environmental storytelling to find, and you know, things have changed. So this isn't the Trumbull Valley that players might remember. So that's going to be exciting.
Interesting. Well, and anytime you expand something like Trumbull Valley, you just have to have a juggernaut of content, pun intended. Talk to me a little bit about what some of those things are that players can get in on here now in the expanded Trumbull Valley.
Yes, a ton of new content. In fact, we're doing something unique with the Trumbull Valley map. There are items there that you can only find on that map and nowhere else in the game, including 12 new hats and outfits, 10 new very cool weapons. We've got 6 new bases, 2 new achievements for achievement hunters. And on top of that, we are adding the game's 12th bounty pack. So that will be available from the bounty broker across all maps. And I have to say, they are some of the coolest weapons I have ever seen go into the game. I'm so excited for people to find them.
A juggernaut amount of content, and I don't care who sees that second pun of the day. That works out great. But let's talk about the State of Decay community, because it's absolutely an integral part to this entire franchise. And State of Decay being on Xbox Game Pass, how has that impacted the community? How has that impacted the game? Talk to me about those.
It's been fantastic, and you know, we have an amazing community. We love them so much. In fact, one of the reasons we're doing Trumbull Valley as a map is because it was one of the most requested features from the community, which also makes it very exciting for us to be able to say, we did it, you get it. And we have a major milestone that we're celebrating. State of Decay 2 has 10 million lifetime players.
10 million lifetime hang your hat on that. I absolutely love that.
Really grateful.
Incredible, amazing news. Congratulations to you and the entire team at Undead Labs, man. Fantastic work. Well, speaking of Xbox Game Pass, let's give me the deets one more time when it comes to the update.
So the update releases September 1st. It's a free update for all State of Decay 2 owners, and it's included with Xbox Game Pass. Happy homecoming.
I love it. Thank you, Wonder, very much.
My pleasure.
Now we move from Trumbull Valley to the Lost Valley of Akria. This mystical location trades zombies for ancient warrior clans, forgotten temples of long-dead god kings, and a healthy dose of hack and slash. All this awaits in Strayblade.
In Strayblade, you discover the mystical lost valley of Akria, a world which ranges from overgrown temple ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. A game world that changes based on your victories and plenty of dudes to stab in blade-to-blade combat. If that weren't enough, you even get a fuzzy little pal to help you out. Between the epic fights and this small guy, there's clearly a lot going on here. So let's hear more from Point
Ben
Blank
je echt
Games
veel van
about
dit soort
Strayblade.
dingen.
Hello everybody, I'm Leonard Kausch, game director at Point Blank Games, and today I will show you Strayblade. Strayblade is an action RPG where you play a rogue adventurer who is exploring the ancient valley of Akria with his companion, a witty wolf named Boji. Unveil the history of the Forgotten Valley, master the powers of the 3 Akrian metals to restore
dit ziet er wel aardig uit
balance
trouwens.
in this war-torn land.
That is the how, as well as the why.
Combat and exploration are the 2 key elements of our game. Let's dive into the combat first. Our combat system merges strategic anticipation of enemy attacks with split.
Dit is mij een beetje te slow gewoon dit.
It is the high noon of skill-based melee weapon combat. To achieve that, we put our hearts into creating fluid, well-readable animations and epic cinematic finishers. You can choose from multiple weapon categories that can be combined to fit your playstyle. Now, let's take a look at the exploration. Akria's colorful world ranges from overgrown city ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. Together with your companion, explore the deepest corners of an ever-changing world bristling with adventure. Every discovery holds treasure. Find rare materials, recipes, weapons, lore pieces, and beautiful places. Change is part of your journey, where every victory impacts the world around you. When you die, time keeps moving forward. Enemy skills stay dead, new foes invade camps that you weakened, and when Boji revives you, only one thing is certain. The change you brought shapes what now awaits you. And of course, get ready for epic boss fights. We hope you enjoyed the first look at Strayblade, which will be out next year. And keep an eye on our social media channels for more information.
Nou.
Next up, one of the most unique games finally comes to Xbox.
Yeah, unique. As in, my evil twin murdered 4 of my husbands because they secretly are in love with me. Unique.
In case that didn't tip you off, we're talking about Crusader Kings 3, the medieval grand strategy and role-playing game that has you trying to defend your royal line from those that would conquer your kingdom and evil twins, apparently.
Yeah. It's coming to Xbox as an adaptation, not a direct port, meaning that the UI and controls have been refined to bring that grand strategy experience to a controller.
Not to mention bringing the grand strategy experience to my comfy living room couch.
We'll all be ruling from our throne room soon enough. Check out Crusader Kings 3, now coming to Xbox consoles.
Ja, check maar op mijn kanaal, Tijn. Hey Manuel, goeiedag jongen.
We must never forget the crimes committed against us. Your father sought his glorious revenge and failed. He never understood that the greatest wars are won with weddings, not warriors. With daggers, not swords. Only the small-minded measure success across the span of a single life. The real game is played across generations. You see, real strategy requires cunning.
Ook niet echt mijn game hoor, om heel eerlijk te zijn. Maar ja.
Crusader Kings 3 is wild. You really haven't lived until you've made an 8-year-old the King of England.
Well, it's nice to have hobbies. We've all gotten into some weird stuff this past year.
Weird like diving into people's brains and exploring their mental universes projected into a psychedelic 60s wonderland kind of weird?
exactly that kind of weird. Which means I am so excited for Psychonauts to finally get a sequel.
Kijk.
It's been so
Hier wacht ik nou op.
There really is something special about Psychonauts, isn't it?
There really is indeed. Now, think about this.
Voor
2005,
duidelijk-
when Psychonauts
ja.
originally came out, was a different time for gaming.
2005 gespeeld, hè, de originele.
Or Battlefield 2, Call of Duty 2. They were great games, for sure. But they were all big, beefy shooter games.
Meanwhile, Psychonauts had humor, whimsy, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. It was an oasis of color and humanity in an era when games were increasingly turning grimy, dark, and combative.
Not to mention having some deceptively deep character moments.
That's why the original is considered a cult classic.
It has been a long time coming, and it is finally here. Enjoy this long-awaited launch trailer for Psychonauts.
Well, this shouldn't take too long.
With psychic powers, he dives into your mind.
My name is Raz, and I'm the new intern. And today is my first day on the job.
Get ready, Rasputin.
Did you forget everything I taught you about levitation, Rasputin?
I'm not supposed to check out equipment to interns.
You did what? Can't we just...
No. Quit picking on the new kid. We were all new once, in case you forgot.
I've got eyes on the target. And I've got eyes on me.
All I see is another unruly peasant.
Oh boy.
When men do misfires, turn the world on its side.
It wouldn't be the first time the Psychonauts underestimated Maligula's power.
Fire! Leave it to me.
Morgen komt hij uit, hè?
Well, it's clear I could not be more excited for Psychonauts 2 because I gotta be honest, me and that original game, we got some beef that needs settling. If you know, you know. The meat circus level, it is infamous, it is brutal, it is difficult to say the least. It's the final level of the original game that came out, and I cannot believe I'm doing the math on this one. 16 years ago, Tim Schafer and Lizette Teatree Montgomery. I am definitely dating myself, but you all welcome from Double Fine Productions. Thank you so much for being here. Tim, can you believe it has been 16 years? I almost said 19 years.
Ja, tuurlijk ga ik PSV kijken.
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday, but it kind of was for Raz because the story picks up right where the first game left off. And even though it has been a lot of years, it's a game that matters a lot to us. We really love it here at Double Fine, and we know that a lot of fans, it meant a lot to them. And so we really want to be true to the spirit of the first game, which we were able to do because we brought back a lot of the same voice actors, and we also have a lot of people on the team here that worked on the first game, as well as bringing on a bunch of new people like Lisette.
Thank you. It was really important for us to carry the legacy forward, especially the cool style of Wonk that is very prevalent in the first game.
Style of Wonk. Just put it on a shirt. I'm in there for it. Let's roll it back a bit. Of course, this can be kind of a trippy idea if you're not familiar. Psychonauts, they still jump into people's minds, I'm assuming, like the first game, right? So if a Psychonaut sort of dove into my brain, it would be like a lot of Ted Lasso quotes and French Bulldog memes. Am I correct, Tim?
Yeah, that's what's fun about a Psychonauts game is that all the levels are different, just like every person is different, based on their personality. If you could jump into someone's mind, what would it look like in there? What would be the color of the sky, and like who would the monsters be? And in Psychonauts, you get to do that because Raz has the power of astral projection. And when he goes in,
Hij komt dus morgen uit, hè, de game. Ik dacht dat hij later zou uitkomen. Hij komt trouwens ook op PlayStation uit, hoor, deze game.
There's a ton of variety. And there's a lot of anything goes. We can go to any location, we can have any art style, and coming up with new levels for the second game was...
Misschien ga ik hem morgen wel even spelen ook. Deze.
Well, I loved it from the first game, certainly, Lizette. Let's talk a little bit about how that kind of concept expresses itself in the game world. I mean, Psychonauts 2 is...
Maar Sean, je moet wel 18 zijn, je moet wel volwassen zijn,
It's
hè?
really important for us to carry forward the unique brain world.
Kan je niet zomaar hele jonge mensen met laten meedoen.
Game and the unique style as well. So we're really focused on how we can bring forward that style in Wonk and also bring in new levels and enemies.
Now, of course, it wouldn't be Psychonauts without new mental demons. And I'm sure it's happening in Psychonauts 2. What does this mean? Does it mean basically is that we're finally able to slap COVID anxiety?
Ik heb Game Pass, dus gewoon downloaden.
Well, I don't know if you get to slap anxiety in your face, but you definitely get to slap some panic attacks. And COVID definitely caused a lot of those. In addition to panic attacks, some of our old enemies have also come back. Our sensors are our favorites, and they're definitely here. And in addition to that, we also have our doubts. And some new enemies. There's our lovely sensor. Also some regrets, some flying regrets. There are a ranged enemy, and they definitely are challenging. Our doubts are our slow, sticky melee enemy. You're also seeing our enabler here. It energizes our whole combat troop. So we have a whole cast that you can battle and fight with.
Including the new bad mood.
Including the bad mood.
Which is...
It's an electric storm of feelings that you have to fight.
Now, for those who haven't played the original, available now on Xbox Game Pass, by the way, wink. Tim, why is Raz so good at rummaging through brains?
Raz is, he has some very special skills. He has two whole sets of skills, one being the acrobatic skills he learned growing up in the circus. He can balance on tightropes, jump on trampolines, swing on trapezes, and that helps him navigate and get around to all kinds of interesting places. But he also has this other side to his personality, which is that he's a powerful psychic. So he can levitate objects, he can use telekinesis and pyrokinesis. He has these powers which people might recognize from the first game, as well as 3 new powers for the second game. He has the ability to mentally connect thoughts together, and he can connect 2 thoughts and actually connect 2 thoughts together to solve puzzles and to navigate in this game. He has the power of time bubble, which is just change and slow down how things are moving by changing people's perception of time. And he also has the power of projection, which allows him to pull an archetype, a personality, out of his unconscious mind and bring it into the world that he's in, like a companion in battle or in puzzle solving.
But let's talk about the story for a second, because as the original Psychonauts, we saw Raz training to be part of an organization, and now perhaps he's part of a whole organization at this point. And are there other brain agents, other Psychonauts out there that maybe grew up in a completely different circus?
Yeah, we have a lot of new characters in this game.
We do. We have a lot of new characters in this game. As soon as Raz arrives on the headquarters, he immediately gets introduced to the interns. And the interns show him how he fits into the organization.
The bottom.
They're right down at the bottom.
Ik dacht alleen dat hij pas over 2 weken
So
uitkwam.
earn his way back to the top again. He's no longer the coolest kid in summer camp.
Psychonauts.
And much to his chagrin, his entire family, his entire embarrassing circus clothes wearing family comes to visit him in front of all his new friends. And so the interns find out that he's the awkward middle child of a circus family. Each one of them has their own quirks and foibles, and some of them are even psychic. And so a lot of their story gets told in this game, including their backstory and how it relates to the foundation of the Psychonauts themselves.
Well, I like that. And of course, as you might know already, I'm sold. But you, of course, already knew that. When can myself and the rest of the world exact some beefy, meaty revenge?
You can get back to the beef and play Psychonauts 2 on August 25th on Xbox Game Pass and PC.
There it is. Lizette, Tim from Double Fine, thank you so much. And you know what? Extend a huge congratulations to everyone at Double Fine on the launch of Psychonauts 2.
Thank you so much. We're very excited.
Thank you.
And you can catch more of Tim Schafer and ask him those burning questions about the newest game in the fan favorite franchise in our Xbox Play stream tomorrow. But first, we're going from cleaning out mental cobwebs to cleaning up alien planets in this supremely satisfying 4K 60 trailer for...
Lekker Manuel. Misschien ga ik morgen op Psychonauts even spelen als hij toch uit is.
I don't like this weather. I'm pretty sure the ship's insurance won't cover alien storm damage.
Ja, maar je kan ook niet zomaar als 15-jarige Anko mee laten doen, mensen. En daar ga ik ook niet nu over hebben in stream zoals dit.
Planet is literally a paradise when the gunk's gone. Bex. Oh, please, Bex.
Nee, niks over gehoord, Niels.
We have talked about so many incredible games today, and it's hard to pick a favorite, but let me just say, it is so cool that State of Decay 2 is expanding Trumbull Valley. Come on. And hey, you know what?
Juan,
Great job
welcome.
on that Flight Sim interview.
Oh, thank you. I mean, talking to Jorg is always a blast, and Flight Sim is such a special game to me because, I mean, it's literally letting me travel the world. But I was staring daggers of jealousy watching you talk to Tim and Lizette over at Double Fine.
Well, I will say this, I understand, but you got to play Psychonauts 2 already, so I don't even want to hear it.
That's true, but it's not the same as talking to the creators. Just trust me when I tell you, be excited for Psychonauts 2.
I will say this as well, I am excited to see even more of Psychonauts 2 on our Xbox Plays streams.
Yes, don't forget, Xbox Plays will recap all the week's news throughout the week at twitch.tv/Xbox, so make sure to check that out. Before Kate and I let Playground Games take the wheel, let me just say that it has been our distinct pleasure to chat games and nerd out with everyone today.
Oh, it's hands down the best part of the job, for sure.
But we're far from done here.
Too true. Now, in June, Playground Games announced that Forza Horizon 5, the highly anticipated follow-up to 2018's breakout hit open-world driving game Forza Horizon 4, arrives on November 9th on Xbox consoles, Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud, and of course, Steam.
And if you're watching our Xbox YouTube channel, switch over to our Xbox Twitch channel to see all this new exclusive content.
And that is twitch.tv/Xbox for the full vroom vroom experience. And if you're already watching on Twitch or one of the Forza channels, stay right where you are.
Without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the new custom Forza Horizon 5 controller, which is available for pre-order today, so players can have it in hand by November 9th when the standard edition of the game launches.
Oh. Oh, hij is wel vet. Limited edition, is wel vet, toch? Dat soort dingen vind ik ook wel leuk om te sparen, maar ja, dat kost gewoon serieus geld, hè?
Charlie here, and I'm at Playground Games
Zo.
with Forza Horizon creative director Mike
Jij
Brown
bent geel.
and Forza Horizon art director Don Arcetta. Hello, everybody.
Hey everyone, hi Charlie.
Hey Charlie,
Hello.
how cool is this?
That is stunning. Look at that. Well, we obviously just saw a really cool video about it, and I'll be the first to say there is an amazing influence of Mexican car culture and music literally splayed right across the front, isn't that right?
Absolutely, it just feels like it's a part of the Horizon Festival, like it's just dropped out of the game into your lap.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love it.
And there's so much we do want to show the fans, and it's been quite difficult to decide where to start. So can you maybe tell us a bit more about the game, Mike?
Sure, yeah, so Forza Horizon 5 is bringing the Horizon Festival's unique brand of fun and freedom to beautiful and vibrant Mexico. Players are going to set out across the largest, most diverse open world we've ever built in hundreds of the world's most beautiful and exciting cars.
Yeah, and people think that Mexico is just a desert or a beach, but there's so much more to it, isn't there?
That's right. Even though it does have pretty awesome beaches and a number of amazing deserts, it also has vast canyons, hidden temples, awesome, beautiful historic cities, and even a towering snow-capped volcano, the highest point we've ever had in a Horizon game.
So you've talked about how Forza Horizon 5 showcases powerful, all-new graphical features, but what more can you tell us about that?
So yeah, our Mexican HDR sky captures really illuminate the world to the point where you feel like you're really there. And thanks to the Xbox Series X and S, ray tracing is utilized in Forza Vista to really make our cars look more true to real life. You'll encounter the smallest of details as you travel throughout the world, all rendered in striking realism.
Oh, that's such an exciting overview. I cannot wait. And next up is something we know that Forza Horizon fans have definitely been waiting for the most. Mike, what exactly is that?
Yeah, that's right. We are about to reveal the cover of Forza Horizon 5, featuring the incredible Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. Should we take a look?
Let's do it, yeah.
We gaan naar Mexico, hè?
Now, those are two very different ways to explore Mexico. So what I want to know is why those two cars were chosen and what players can expect when they get behind the wheel.
Yeah, so those differences are exactly why we chose them. The Mercedes AMG 1 marks the first time a car features Formula One hybrid technology almost one-to-one from track to the street. And with the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands, that's primed for rugged off-roading across Mexico's vast terrain.
And I'm certain people can't wait to see more of what these cars can do in the game, so I don't think we should keep them waiting any longer. Mike, can you tell us about what we're about to see next?
Yes, so in a few moments' time, we'll be kicking off a Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go stream, and everybody should check that out for a big deep dive into loads of new content and features from Forza Horizon 5. But before that, we have 8 minutes of brand new gameplay where we're going to see both the Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. And in typical Horizon fashion, we are going to see active volcanoes, cars jumping out of cargo planes, and a race under beautiful Mexican skies all the way to the Horizon Festival. Should we check it out?
8 minuten gameplay. Nou. Me encanta venir ja.
Bienvenidos a Mexico.
Here we take control of the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands, atop of the towering, snow-capped Gran Caldera volcano.
See you on the other side.
Hoog, hè?
There might be a little bit of traffic ahead. Watch out for that. Making new friends, eh? You go enjoy yourself. I have to go make another delivery.
Forza Horizon is een vette game.
Lovely day for a drive.
So now we see the 2020 Corvette Stingray tearing up the asphalt towards a dust storm in the Mexican farmland.
Kijk die zandstorm verderop, jongen. Moderators, kunnen jullie even gewoon even jieten?
Okay, on my mark. 5, 4. Now, that's fine. This could get a little rough.
Dankjewel.
Next up is the Porsche 911 Desert Flyer, crashing through the dense jungle tree canopy.
Porsche 911. Hij is gewoon weer echt vertrouwd. Forza Horizon toch dit, hè? Ziet er alleen nog iets mooier uit, zeg maar. Nog ineens zo heel veel mooier, hoor. Maar setting is misschien wel leuker. Mexico in plaats van Engeland. Baja California.
This is the final drop. The whole festival is waiting. Go, go, go! What do you say? First to the festival wins? Vámonos!
And on the final leg, we have the stunning Mercedes AMG 1 at full speed across Mexico's sun-baked rocky coast.
Horizon, this is Mexico. We've already had cars falling out of the sky, but all eyes are on the superstar making their way to the festival right now.
Je kan hierna nog meer zien van gameplay. Dat zag je net onder in beeld op Xbox en Forza op Twitch. Dan ben ik in ieder geval blij dat ik die Xbox Series X en X heb, hè. GTA is uit 2013, dus de engine is zeker van 2010. De engine. En deze engine is natuurlijk wel gewoon 2 jaar oud of zo. Maar loopt altijd achter, hè? Is het afgelopen, hè? Oh, dan mis ik wel gewoon Halo, hè? Halo? Hallo Halo? No Halo? Die game is ook wel echt... Yep, afgelopen. Oh, het zou kunnen...
Gamescom hasn't officially kicked off yet, but of course Microsoft decided to get the party started a little early with that Xbox showcase. There is plenty to unpack from that. We had, what, about 80 minutes worth of content there.
Dit was het!
So, joining me to talk about
hey.
the Xbox game showcase are Destin Legary and our friend Cam Hawkins. Welcome, gentlemen.
Is een pauze dit. Dit was hem. Maar even serieus. Waar is Halo? Geen Halo? Nee, dit was hem. Johnny. Dit was het. Dit is het. Dit was het, hè? Ja, andere dag. Welke dag dan? En waarop dan? Johnny. Hij komt op de Xbox. Dat is juist helemaal de... Forza was gewoon het laatste. Dat was het. Damn! Wat een... Nou, dit valt me wel een beetje tegen, als ik eerlijk ben, dit. Ik had echt gewoon fucking ook wel willen weten over Halo. Nou, maar Halo is weer... Hij is eerst echt een jaar uitgesteld, hè, Halo. En nu gaan ze hem helemaal uitkleden, wat er uit gaat komen. Dat is echt... Ja, dan ben je al gedoemd, joh. Maar dat is wel heel erg, hoor. Dit dan. Ja, hier, ze gaan het hier hebben over Forza. Maar dat vind ik wel heel erg, ja. Ik ben eerlijk. Ik vind het natuurlijk super... ik ben wel Xbox boy, zeg maar. Ook echt wel fan ervan. Gewoon vanwege alle... Gewoon de console, hoe die is en alles erop en eraan. Alleen, ja, Halo is wel echt... Een jaar uitgesteld en wordt helemaal uitgekleed en nu weer niks. Vorig jaar ook niks, hè? Vorige Xbox stream ook helemaal niks erover. Dus ik vind het wel... Ja, een soort van... Kan ik wel vertellen, ja toch? Dat, ja... Nou ja, dat was een einde trouwens, Anko. Was natuurlijk thank you for watching stond er in beeld. Maar het was wel echt in één keer... We gaan het zien, jongens. Dan, nou, morgen is natuurlijk de echte Gamescom. Die gaat echt beginnen dan met de opening show vanaf 8 uur. Dat ga ik niet doen, want ik ga morgen om 8:30 ga ik live met Formule 1 samen met Jeroen. En ik ga daarvoor denk ik nog eventjes Psychonauts doen misschien wel. Misschien dat ik wel een extra livestreamtje in het begin van de avond doe even voor Psychonauts 2. Want daar heb ik niet op gerekend eigenlijk. Maar ja, we gaan het zien. Voor nu wil ik iedereen bedanken voor het kijken. Ik ga even FIFA verder even afmaken, meteen online zetten. En dan... ja, Hoe moet je dan eindigen, Anko? Ja, ik weet niet. Maar in ieder geval, voor nu is het dus even over. We gaan allemaal zien wat er de komende dagen nog wel uit gaat komen. Er zal natuurlijk heel veel dingen ook komen van EA. Onder andere natuurlijk Battlefield en zo, FIFA. We zullen het allemaal wel zien. En nou ja, in ieder geval wens ik jullie een fijne avond. Vanavond ga ik dus niet meer live verder. Vanwege, ja, ik wil toch PSV zien. Even kijken of ze wel de Champions League gaan halen. FIFA komt nu zo online. Met een 10 minuutjes staat FIFA online. En dan lijkt hij vooral ook eventjes. Morgen overdag ben ik live hier op YouTube met Fortnite. In de avond dus, hoe dan ook, Psychonauts en Formule 1. Dus ik ga jullie allemaal spreken, jongens. Fijne wedstrijd voor de mensen die het gaan kijken. En in ieder geval een fijne avond. Bye bye. Was dit dan een goed einde?